Welcome dear student. Myself Mukund Holkar, lecturer in Mechanical Engineering Department, Guru Gobind Singh Polytechnic, Nasik. So today we will learn the fasteners. After watching this video, you will be able to know fastener application in mechatronics system, basics of fastener and its characteristics, and last one is troubleshooting of fasteners. So now you can observe these two pictures. First one is permanent type of fastening and temporary fastening. So fastening is a joining process and you can carry out the joining process by two ways. First one is permanent fastening. So generally we are using the welding machines for doing the fastening, and in case of temporary fastening we use nut, bolt, screw, etc. So these are the two methods of doing the fastening. Then these are the applications of fasteners in mechatronic system. So in mechatronic system we use the different components. We use cylinder, we use some of the actuators, some of the electrical components, some other components are also mounted on it, and they are assembled together so as to fasten them or so as to join them. We use the temporary fastening method, that is with the help of nuts, some bolts are there and some screws are there. So you can observe on first picture, there are the nuts which are located on the wall. This is a wall, we will learn in when we cover the hydraulic portion. And in another picture, nut and bolts are there which is located on station number 2, where the height measurement will be carried out. Then the fundamentals. So after application we will move to the fundamentals. So you can observe in figure. So head is there and shank is there. So bolt basically is divided into two parts, head portion and shank portion. So shank is nothing but the bolt length, and on bolt length threads are present. So you can observe on right side the threads are given. So in case of bolt fundamental, there are some of the concepts you have to require during the its changing process, means you have to do the replacement. So these properties are become important. First one is major diameter, which is represented by small d, minor diameter dr, mean diameter or you can say pitch diameter, that is dp, and last one is lead, which is represented by small l, and it is defined as the distance the nut moves in one turn rotation. So during the fastening process your nuts will be fastened, or you can say get connected or joined with your nut. During this, if nut is moved one turn, that one turn is known as lead. So while selecting any bolt, so these things you have to take care. And also you can observe in threads also. So the crest are present, which is the tallest portion on a thread, and roots are given, which are the notches. Then one video is uploaded on your Google Classroom, so the link is also provided on the PPT. You can copy the link and watch the video about the basics of fasteners. Then from fundamentals, what you learn basically. So fasteners are very simple. These are the thousands of nuts, bolts, screws that hold the mechanical system together. So if you want to combine the mechanical system or hold the mechanical system for a temporary purpose, so you can use the fasteners. And in fasteners basically nut and bolt, temporary type. Then Each fastener is engineered for a specific application. So for each and every, depending on application, its weight, size, location, so all these things have to be considered during the selection of the fastener. So each and every fastener is designed, or you can say engineered for a specific application. So there are different shape and sizes of the nut as well as bolt. Fastening can be temporary or permanent type depending upon the application. So we already discussed that temporary fastening, which one is the temporary fastening, which is the permanent type of fastening. So in mechatronic system we generally use the temporary fastening because there are some chances that while in mechatronic system some of the components may get worn out or some defects are there. So you have to use the nut and bolt type of assembly, and you can replace the component by just removing the nut from the bolt and change the component. Then bolt, first one is, so you can observe the two pictures shown in this ppt. On right side there is one headed bolt, so which is having threads throughout its length. In another portion, left side, you can observe two bolts which are not having the 100% threads throughout its length. So it all depends on the your specific engineered, how you engineered or how you design the bolt. So it depends on your application. So how many threads are there, up to what extent, up to what length, it is totally depends on your application and as per the manufacturing requirement. And one more thing is there, as you increase the number of thread, you are actually weaken or decrease its strength. So that's why some of the threads are having throughout its full length, or you can say shank length, and some of the threads are only up to 20% or 25% of threads are there, and rest of the shank will be having a cylindrical shape like that. So bolt is a shaft with a head on one end as you see in picture, and threads on the other side. That other side is known as shank length or bolt length. Bolt head is used to tighten the bolt. So with the help of spanner, some other devices, you can tighten the bolt. Also name after the shape and head drive configuration. So its naming is very simple. You can observe the picture. These are the hexagonal headed bolt. So names are provided to the bolts depending on the head shape, its configuration. Bolts and nuts are available in right as well as left hand thread. So these two types are available. In most of the cases we are normally using the right hand threaded bolts in normal case, and in some of the special cases you have to use the LH, or you can say left handed thread, and this particular left handed thread are mentioned on the bolt head. So some of the bolt head are written as its size name. Also some letters are given, for example capital L, LH is stamped on them, or some notches are there. So with the help of notches or some symbolic representation you can identify that these are the left handed thread. And if nothing is written, so you can simply say that these are the RS threads. So this is all about your left hand and right hand. And what do you mean by left hand and what do you mean by right hand? So it is very simple. If you want to tighten the bolt, right hand side means you have to move the bolt in a clockwise direction. So if you move the bolt in a clockwise direction and it get tightened, so it is a right handed thread bolt. And left handed are the, if you want to tighten the left handed threaded bolt, So you have to move the bolt in anti-clockwise for the tightening process, and for loosening the opposite motions are required, like that. So this is all about the basics of the bolts. Okay, here are some of the characters of the bolt. You can see here the names are given as per the shape of the head. So bolt head basically represents the various names. For example, first one is conventional, your hexagonal head. So it is represented by HH or HX. So this is a typical hexagonal headed bolt. Then if it is having some washer on it, so you can observe in shape also, you can see the figure. So if it is having washer, so it is known as hexagonal washer, or some slots are there, slotted hexagonal washer, or some socket type of arrangement, socket head cap. These type of socket head cap we are using on each and every station at pneumatic valves. We will cover the pneumatic valves, you can see in previous slides also. So some rotating type of socket head bolts we are using. Then some button type of, so they look like as a button, so it is a button shape bolts are there. So some these shapes are depend on the application also, and some aesthetic considerations are also there. Sometimes if you want to look the system in a proper way, so aesthetically you can choose the different shapes of the bolt head. So button is one of them, so it looks or it appears better way. Then next one is nut. After bolt, so nuts are there. So nut uses internal thread and an odd shape head and is tightened onto a bolt. So this is a combined assembly of nut and bolt. So if you want to fasten or join the two parts, so you have to drill in between them, put a bolt in it and tighten with the help of nut. So this is a particular arrangement. You can see the pictures also. These are the typical nuts. First one is nylon lock nut, then next one is metal self locking nut. Some typical hexagonal nuts are also available. Self locking nuts produce friction when threaded onto a bolt. Top of the nut can be crimped inward. So depending on your application, self locking nuts are also we are using on four-wheeler. The wheels which are rotated at very high revolution or very high RPMs are there. So in that case self locking nuts we are required, because these nuts have tends to chance that while they are in motion, so there may be a chance they may get outside to the bolt threaded portion. So there you require a self locking type of nuts. Nut uses internal threads and an odd shape head and is tightened onto the bolt. So threads are having internally, on nut threads are internally, on bolts the threads are on the outer portion. So you can do the assembly. Then these are the some of the characters, or you can say shapes of the different nuts. So first one is hexagonal, same as your bolt. Then nylon insert lock, so on another end you can insert a lock type of arrangement, so you can use a nylon insert lock, same you have observed in picture also previous slide. Then jam nuts are there, they are having smaller height, so and they are having some curve shapes on top, so they lock itself. Then wing nuts are there. These nuts are used where there is a limited space so you cannot use the spanner and all these things. So you can use these type of wing nuts. Then cap nut are there. They looks some dome type of top cover on it, so it looks better way. Then some acorn type of nut, then flange nut, square nut, key or cape type of nut. So it all depends on your application, so where you actually using these nuts. And also you have to consider the location of the nut and bolt assembly. So if you are located where there are more chances of corrosion, and you have to regularly dismantle the compound by removing the nut and bolt assembly, so you can use according to your application. So different types of nut shape and bolt shape you are using. Then next one is screw. So after bolt, nuts are there, and after nuts, these are the screws. So there is a basic difference between your bolt and screw. So these are the, sometimes you can call it as a semi permanent type of fasteners. So these type of screws we are using for non-structural parts on any mechanical system. So non-structural part, if you want to hold a non-structural part, so there you can use the screws. For example, on wall also, some seat cover of your ST bus or school van, where you can use the screw type of arrangement instead of going to the nut and bolt arrangement. So there may be a chances that these nut and bolts may be get outside to the bolt portion, like that. So there you can use a screw type of arrangement. Machine screws are threaded their full length and are relatively weak. So as compared to bolt, these are relatively weak compounds. And set screw have an internal drive head for an Allen wrench and hold part onto the shafts. So you require some Allen wrench type of arrangement so as to fasten the, some automatic machines are also there, so they can fit the screw inside the wall portion or some non-structural parts. Then if you want to fasten a sheet metal, so you can use screw also. Some self tapping screws are also pointed or tapered tip type of arrangements are also there. You can see in round shape screw some taper type of arrangement, so they can easily move inside the non-structural portion. And these type of arrangement do not require any nut arrangement. So in case of bolt, you required a bolt and nut arrangement both assembled together. Here they are move inside and get fitted. Then these are the some of the typical shapes of the screws. First one is Phillips, some round shape on top and some X-shaped drives are there. Then slotteds are there. One single slot is there. For Allen wrench, you have to dismantle and assemble the screws also. Then some combination of above two Phillips and slotted. Then socket or hex or Allen type of arrangement. A hexagonal hole is used with an Allen wrench. So it all depends on the application where you want to use, and some aesthetic considerations are also there in it. Then next one is non-threaded fasteners. So we observe the three types of temporary fastening: bolt, nut, screw. All these things are have a threads. So with the help of threads, they move inside your component or any non-structural parts. So these are the different types of fasteners. They are non-threaded type. So in case of non-threaded, we are generally use a key type of arrangement. You can see in figure in right side, you can observe key slot, or you can call it as a keyway. Then keys are located. Then on another portion you can observe a groove is provided. So generally these keys are having some taper kind of shape, so while entering their sizes are less, and as it moves to the head portion, so its size get increases. Some taper type of arrangements are there. So these fasteners are known as non-threaded. Some wood rough keys are there, and these things are used where some you cannot use the Allen, some spanner arrangement, so there you can use the keys arrangement. Taper pins you can also use to locate and position matching parts. Also some cotter pins are you can also use instead of bolt and nut arrangement. So these are the things uh, which are used in a machine compound. These things are known as non-threaded fasteners. So this is all about your fasteners. We learn the basic three fasteners, temporary fasteners: bolt, nut, and non-threaded. Then the data sheets. This data sheet is provided by Thomas Potter, one of the manufacturer of fasteners. So here you can observe. Here the nominal size and thread diameters are given, and they are generally represented as M10. So here in India generally we are following the German standard, so we are using the capital M letter, which is represented as a metric, and in inches we are using the British standard. So these two standards we are using, and generally the manufacturer gives the bolt nominal size in M10 or M12. So you cannot manufacture the bolt head or nut having the sizes of M10.1 or 10.2. So these are the typical shapes of the nut and bolt, and you can observe here some of the other data they are providing. So for example, they are giving you the pitch, depth, transition diameter, diameter of washer, and all that. You can observe here some of the pictures also. They are also giving the picture, so you can observe the other dimensions are also provided. So with the help of data sheets, so you can easily replace the some nut and bolt arrangement if these systems get some fault or some other problem will be occur. Then last one is troubleshooting. Over tightening can stretch or break the bolt. Then under tightening can allow bolt or nut to loose and fall out. So these are the two problems. So you have to accurately tight the bolt and nut arrangement, so it cannot stretch more or loose so that it can fallen out of the assembly. Bolt thread should be lubricated for accurate result. So if you are using the nut and bolt assembly in a corroded environment or some moistures are there, so there may be a chances that corrosion may take place. So you have to lubricate the bolt threads properly. Then some of the pictures are there, so you can observe here. These things are occur in a regular basis. So staining or claddings are there, some potentials leakage are there. So you are using the nut and bolt arrangement, some inside material will be poured onto the your nut and bolt assembly. Some foreign particle contamination, dust, and all these things may get corrosion. So these things are happen in case of your bolt head or some nut arrangement. So then some hidden corrosion of fastener shanks are there. So some portion will be get some reduced shape due to corrosion. So these are the some of the things you can observe here with the help of pictures. So in case of bolt, you can observe nut and bolt, tightening and corrosion. So these are the two faults may occur in a nut and bolt. Otherwise, there is no mechanical failure in it. These are the simple components you can use for fastening. So what you learn in the video is that fasteners make of 1000 bolts, nuts, screws that literally hold a mechanical system together. Bolt strain indicates the amount of torque or tightening force that should be applied. And last one is non-threaded fasteners do not use thread. So non-threaded fasteners are also there. They are not having threads on it. So these are some keys, some pin, clips. They are using the in a coupling type of arrangement or some engine like portions. So here the no threads are there and they are fitted for temporary purpose. So this is all about your fasteners. These are the three questions. Try to solve the questions. So thank you very much for your patience listening. If you have any kind of doubt on fasteners, so you can contact to me. Thank you very much.